All right, so Kenny has joined us today to talk about his journey, the journey of transforming his habits, his eating habits, his nutrition, his training, his lifestyle, and ultimately having a huge positive impact on his life and his family's life. Kenny's from Aberdeen and
Hmm.
works offshore, and he's been working with me for somewhere around 10 months now. Kenny, isn't it?
About 10 months, mate, yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. Before you actually started working with me, before we had our first conversation, Kenny, what was
Hmm.
how did you feel before you got started? What were the reasons that you felt that you wanted to make changes in the first place?
Yeah, well, a few years before I started the training with you, I'd been diagnosed with a heart condition that still remains undiagnosed at the moment. But I take medication every day for that. And at that point, I thought, right, well, we need to start doing something to sort of improve my health. The wife was pregnant with her first child, so it was a bit of a push to sort of, you know, try and get to grips with things. So I started doing a lot of running, a lot of cardio training, mainly doing half marathons and the training that went along with that. And that progressed to doing a full marathon just before I started training with yourself. Um, but where I felt good training, I felt like the actual training program was too. It was too strict. It was too stringent. You know what I mean? I had to really, if I didn't cover a certain mileage each week, I found it quite sort of upsetting. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
the mental side of things was just it was too strict to follow. And at the same time, I wasn't really getting any of the benefits of my body shape changing. I was still overweight. I was still, what was I? I think I was like up to about 13 stone at one point, which for me, being 5'6" was quite heavy. I
Yeah.
mean, I could run 26 mile, but I couldn't seem to lose a stone and a half. You know what I mean?
Hi.
So yeah, I knew I had to make a change. I had to sort of embrace some weight training, but I didn't have a clue really where to start. You know, being offshore, I've got loads of guys in the gym that think that they are experts at what they're doing that aren't. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, like I've said before, it sounds strange, but the main reason I got in touch with you was because I'm lazy, and I thought, why, uh, why should I go and look for all this information, all this stuff to get me in the shape that I don't have time for this. Like I'm on a 3-and-3 rotation. When I'm home, I'm a busy dad and husband, and I've not got time to be going and doing all this research and trying to find out exactly what I should and shouldn't be doing. And it was quite overwhelming, to be fair. The
Yeah.
thought of it, the fact that I was doing all this training and didn't seem to be getting anywhere really was also quite, overwhelming. And yeah, like I said before, I've seen some of the stuff that you put on Facebook. I've seen some of your posts, and the main thing that attracted me to it was the fact it was specifically designed for guys that are dads and with busy lives. Because realistically, I feel like even getting the time now to train is still difficult, and I imagine it will be for a long time. But that was the main driving force for me. I wanted to improve my health, get in much better shape, and yeah, I wanted to do a program that was designed specifically for dads.
You mentioned that the reason you've invested in this coaching is because you're lazy.
Mm.
Depends on how you look at it. I mean, I know you're not lazy because I've seen what you've achieved and I've seen your commitments. But I would rephrase that as you're smart, right?
Yeah.
You've taken away all the pain and frustration and heartache and failures of going at it on your own, and you've obviously realized along this journey that you still hit plateaus and you still hit failures and stuff like
Oh,
that
definitely, yeah.
on the road. But you've invested in a fast track solution to take away all of that, rather than try and figure it out on your own. And that's going to take so much longer. So that's not lazy, because at the end of the day, I've guided and facilitated, but you're the one who's made the changes and showed up every day and put the effort in and stayed consistent.
Yeah. I think lazy is possibly the wrong choice. I mean, even if I had the time to go and look at all this information, I very much doubt that I would. Do you know what I mean? But to me, it's a similar thing. If it's like if my car breaks down, I don't try and fix it myself. I take it to an expert that'll tell me exactly what's wrong with it, and fix it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the way that we had to look at it. I've got a problem that I want to be healthier, I want to be slimmer, I want to be in better shape, and I want to be more motivated to keep up with my son and my wife and just have a happy, active lifestyle. And I've gone to an expert, and thankfully it's all going really well,
Yeah.
Pretty
Great.
much, yeah.
I love that. All right, so obviously you mentioned that you follow my stuff and it appealed to you and you reached out. Now, when you first sent that message and we agreed that we were going to start working together, I find that can be quite a daunting process, to just taking that leap from thinking about doing something about this and then to, right, now I'm invested, now I'm committing, now it's like I actually need to take this seriously and I'm actually going to need to change now. So what were some of the apprehensions that may have been going through your mind at that time, if any?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it's the money that you're investing in the program. You feel like you really need to give it your best effort because it's money you're investing in yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And the sort of apprehensions I had was that I've done like the P90X previously, I've done the Insanity, and not that I've ever gotten to the point where I'm going, oh yes, I'm proper ripped now. Do you know what I mean? But it's like it was completely unsustainable. Like the last time I did P90X was when I was on a contract away for 5 months working, and the only reason I could stick to the Insanity in that was because I was at work. I was working 12 hours a day offshore, and then I had a couple hours to myself at night that I could go and do it. I couldn't have done that if I was at home. I wouldn't have wanted to. But you feel great for a couple of months after, and then it's like, no, your body just changes again. There was absolutely nothing permanent, and I suppose you could keep it permanent if you had that kind of time and that kind of drive, but I certainly don't, and I don't know anybody that could sustain doing Insanity, every week of their lives. I mean, it's just
Insanity.
it's totally it is. It's just totally it's too much, and obviously, like I said at the start, that I was doing this training regime for my running, and anyone that's done sort of marathon training knows that it's quite intense. You have targets, you've got a set amount of time before the race, so you have to hit these targets week in, week out. If you don't, you feel that the head goes down a wee bit. You feel, oh my god, and it was reminding me of the Insanity thing. If you're not, it's too intense. If you're not hitting these marks, and it doesn't help a healthy mindset, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Fine if that's what you're into and you've got the training and all that, but like I said, with my work and my home life, it really was not helping the mental side of things at all. It certainly wasn't improving my mood. The wife would tell you it was a bit of a nightmare. Like I said, if I missed a day's training for some reason, that was it. It was like, whoa, and it wasn't a healthy environment for myself or my family, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, the thing that did attract me was the sort of steadier pace, and again, probably a lot of the other guys in the program will say the same. This whole the 1% thing really is one of the massive positives for me in this program, because guys know that life happens. Look at what's happening now. You know.
Yeah, this coronavirus.
Aye, you can't get near a gym. You can't. Your day-to-day life is completely upended. A lot of guys are going to be at home with kids and that now, but as long as you're still doing 1% towards your goal, then that's positive. That's good. You know. I mean, if I was training for a marathon just now with this happening, I'd just be beating myself up every day. You know, and it's not healthy. You know. But it's like I've said to you before, the biggest, I mean, I've made a lot of good body changes, you know. I've lost weight. I certainly am in the shape I want to be in, you know, yeah. But I'm making big steps towards it. But for me, it's the mental side of things is just completely transformed from 10 months ago, you know. It's like you just you sort of, you can feel overwhelmed when you first sort of start. You know, like, it is a big step. It's a big commitment. Like I said, the money side of things, a lot of people would say, well, you know, it's a lot of money. Of course it is, but to invest that in yourself, your physical well-being and your mental well-being, to me, it's been completely worthwhile. And yeah, like I said, the mental transformation is just huge. I feel like my whole brain has just been quieting down. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's a lot less going on in there. Certainly a huge benefit for me at the moment. I mean, personal situation, the wife's a senior charge nurse in ARI in Aberdeen in the hospital, so she's doing 12-hour shifts every day at the moment trying to cope with this virus. We've got grandparents that can't help with my son because they're both, you know, very susceptible. My wife's 93-year-old grandmother's in isolation in the hospital because they think that she's got this virus, you know. So if all this was happening 10 months ago, I'd have been going like bananas. I really would have been. But at the moment, because you've got that focus, you know, you're still concentrating on nutrition, you're still doing workouts, albeit home workouts, or even like this morning, I managed to get into the field next to my house and I just did laps around my field just to try and, you know, do a bit of running, try and clear the mind. But because you've got that focus, it makes everything else just a little bit less serious. Do you know what I mean? It's like your stress levels are lower because no matter what else is happening in the world, family-wise, virus-wise, all that, you're still focusing on yourself. You're still giving yourself a bit of time and, like I say, mental health as well. And it is making a big difference in my life, certainly my family's life, you know. I mean, me being a lot more relaxed and a lot happier mentally has nothing but a positive effect on the wife and on my son and just my whole family, really. You know, you're a lot more useful, you're a lot more involved with things, you know. You can go outside and play with the wee one for an hour without worrying about, oh, does this need done, does that need done? You know, it's just, it's been massive, really. It has. Like, I'm a totally different person from 10 months ago. Absolutely.
I think that's amazing. You know, I hear that so much from the other guys, and you hear it as well. They obviously use all chat inside the WhatsApp group and stuff. And one of the biggest things that we get is, I'm a completely different person. You know, I think as much as people improve their body shape, their energy and things like that, but it's like the mindset transformation is like is the biggest transformation that we see on this program. perspective on life, perspective on good nutrition, you know, not dieting, not restriction, and nobody's we kind of tend to leave that yo-yo effect and that on the wagon, off the wagon behavior behind forever, and everybody just finds a place where they're so much more focused and channeled and constantly making, you know, small leaps of progress week to week, month to month, and just it's all around expansion.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like I said to you last week, I eat more now than I ever have. Like, I mean, I'm definitely not on a diet. Like, I eat way more than I ever have. And I've lost what, just over a stone in weight that I'll never ever go back on. You know, it doesn't feel like like it's hard to explain. It's like it doesn't feel like you're. I don't feel like I'm on a program anymore. It's like that
Mhm.
says to you, I'm not in training me. I'm not fat me. I'm not anything. I'm just me. This is just life now. You know, I don't feel like my day to day. I don't feel like I'm on a training program. I just feel like this is normal life. The
Exactly.
education about what to eat, and honestly, I mean, I love it. If you told me 10 months ago I'd be having steak and veggies for breakfast, I'd have thought you were mental. And you know, it pretty much rotates between steak and salmon for breakfast every day. It's just great. I love it. You
Yeah, and
know, but I mean, yeah, the education wise as well, and you do learn a lot without getting. It's not like you get handed a textbook and says, "Right, you've got to learn all this." You know, it's like, oh, I'm not reading that. I've no time. The way it's structured so that you get these lessons over time, you know, makes a massive difference because everyone can find like 10 minutes in a day. You know, I usually listen to my daily lesson when I'm training. You know, just put my headphones in and listen to it, and you know, I find that quite easy to do. You know, but it's the education, and the other sort of massive for me is the ability to self-assess, because again, it's more of the sort of mental side of things. I think a lot of people that do struggle mentally with some things really, they don't like sitting looking at themselves and self-assessing because they just see problems. Do you know what I mean?
mhm.
But at the minute, because I've got the confidence with the training's going well and I'm sticking to my nutrition without it being difficult. It does give you that ability to just sit for 10 minutes, like I do regularly when I finish my training. Sit for 10 minutes and do my deep breathing and do a little self-assessment and think, right, how am I feeling, and having that confidence to say, right, well, actually, I'm feeling a bit burnt out today, so I'm just gonna finish my training. I'm just gonna sit and chill out, or I'm gonna go for a walk with the dog, or something. Do you know, something that's just me without feeling overwhelmed. You know,
Yeah.
and to to have the confidence now to do that is yeah, like I said, it is life changing. Absolutely.
Yeah, and you can tell this just listening to you talk and what
Mm.
you're saying and the impact this has had on your life. This has been truly life changing for you, and no doubt
Oh,
that's had massive impacts on your son, your wife, and spending time with the family. And
yeah.
I did have some other questions to ask you, but you just spilled off and you've answered them already.
Oh,
To
that's
be
good.
honest, so that's a great thing, and no, I like that because the fact I didn't have to ask you those questions,
Mm.
you're speaking volumes for the impact that this has truly had on not just
Hmm.
an aesthetic level, like when this changes with your body and improving how you look,
No,
but also on a much deeper level, and that's
yeah, of
what's more important. That's
course it
I
is.
love
But
that.
then, but at the same time, it's like I've said to you before. With the way the program is, if mentally, a lot of guys are fine mentally. You know what I mean? If you don't have issues like that at all, and you're happy, everything's great. The program would still be really good for you, because it's like it says, if I followed this program to the letter every day, if I hit my training every day, like like we get sent out, then I probably would be absolutely ripped by now. But as we know, like I said, sometimes that's just not possible. You have to have like a couple of days when, all right, well, I can't manage, or but
Hmm.
the way it's built, the way it's put together, so that that isn't the end of the world. That's fine. If you have a bad day, you start again the next day and move forward, and that's a massive thing. I mean, like I said, the mental side is good, but the body side's great as well. Like this is the lowest weight I've ever been in my probably my adult life, and
Yeah.
a big part of it is confidence-wise, and I would be more than happy going on my holidays, kicking about, no top on, quite happy, you know. All right, we've not quite got the six-pack going on yet, but, you know.
Hey, we'll get there.
Oh, exactly. We'll get there eventually. But, yeah, it's just, even that side of things, it just breeds confidence, which I think is massive, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, Kenny,
Yeah.
thanks very much. I've got one more question for you, mate.
No worries.
For anybody watching this, for any of the guys who are watching this video now who are currently in a similar situation that you were in before you got started, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're maybe on the fence thinking about reaching out, investing in themselves and getting started on this journey, but they have the apprehensions and they're unsure. What would your advice be to those people now?
Just say, just jump in, just go for it, you know, get in touch with yourself and just sort of embrace it, you know. I mean, right from our first conversation, I knew speaking to you that you were just a normal sort of bloke that, you know, it's like, initially I felt like we were just like down the pub having a conversation. You know what I mean? That's the sort of level it was at. You know, it's like,
That's because I spent a lot of time in pubs, mate.
but you know what I mean? It's just, it's relaxed. It's not, you don't feel like you're getting talked at. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what puts a lot of people off, is that you get talked at and you get instructions, and it's not that at all. You can be as into it, or you can step it back. Like he says, we can step back and just follow the dailies as much as you want. But the support's always there. Whenever I've got a question, I just get in touch with you. Even if I'm offshore, I still manage to get an answer. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, like I said, it's completely different from any programs that you've done before. And I would say just go for it, you know. I mean, yeah, I wish I started it a long time ago, you know. The benefits I feel from it, I wish I'd had those benefits for like the last 5 or 6 years. But I'm still absolutely delighted that I'm sticking with it now, you know. Like I say, it's totally just changed life around here. It's great.
Excellent. All right, Kenny. Thanks very much for your time, mate. This has been fantastic, just listening to you spiel this stuff off.
No worries, anytime.
You have been an inspiration to work with, and you set some great examples for everyone following in your footsteps, mate. So keep up the good work. I appreciate it, mate. All right. Thank you very much.